Welcome to Echoes of the Damned. In the heart of Buckinghamshire, a darkness lurks beneath the rolling hills, an ancient place where shadows dance and whisper secrets of forbidden rituals, a place steeped in legend, decadence, and darkness. These are the Hellfire Caves, carved into the chalk and flint hills at the behest of Sir Francis Dashwood in the mid-1700s. Today, we descend into these caverns where the line between myth and reality blurs, and every step echoes with the sins of the past. The Hellfire Caves, also known as the West Wycombe Caves, stretch 260 meters underground, a labyrinth of man-made chambers that extend for about 400 meters. Created in the 18th century, they were the secret meeting place of the infamous Hellfire Club, a group shrouded in scandal and whispers of hedonistic debauchery. Tales of revelries within these stone walls hint at hedonistic rituals where prostitutes dressed as nuns took part in orgies and sinister ceremonies echoed through the corridors. Sounds like my kind of party. Founded in 1718 by Sir Francis Dashwood, the Hellfire Club was known by many names: the Brotherhood of Sir Francis of Wycombe, the Order of Knights of West Wycombe, and the Order of the Friars of St. Francis of West Wycombe, all seemingly pious names for a group that indulged in the very antithesis of sanctity. The club's motto, Fais ce que tu voudrais, or Do What Thou Wilt, spoke of their libertine creed. This secret society counted among its members several politically and socially influential figures of the 18th century: William Hogarth, John Wilkes, Thomas Potter, and even the enigmatic Benjamin Franklin. Though not officially a member, he was a close friend of Sir Francis, are said to have walked these underground halls, shedding their public personas to embrace the libertine philosophy. The Hellfire Club first gathered in the ruins of Menmenham Abbey, just 6 miles from West Wycombe. But when the Hellfire Caves were completed between 1748 and 1752, their meetings moved underground, away from prying eyes. Within these hidden chambers, twice a month, they convened for nights of pleasure and secrecy. Twice a year, they indulged in week-long events, the nature of which we can only speculate. The merry men who entered these caves left with dark secrets, as what happened here was meant to stay buried within these cold, damp walls. But what drove Sir Francis Dashwood to create this subterranean sanctuary? It begins with his grand tour, a journey undertaken by young men of high status to absorb the cultures of Europe. Sir Francis wandered through Italy, Turkey, Syria, and Greece, immersing himself in the ancient mysteries. Inspired by the caves he encountered on his travels, he returned with a vision of his own cavern. It wasn't just a display of wealth or power, it was his response to a bitter rivalry with his neighbor, Lord Temple. Sir Francis wanted something to surpass any grand structure and bring the Hellfire Club into an era of luxury and seclusion. Yet there was another motive: benevolence. The locals of West Wycombe had been struck by 3 years of failed harvest, leaving many without work or food. Sir Francis employed these men to excavate the caves, a task that not only provided them with a livelihood, but also supplied chalk for a new road between West Wycombe and High Wycombe. For the men who toiled in darkness, each shovelful of chalk was a shilling earned, enough to sustain their families in those bleak times. Now, as we enter the cave, we are greeted by a facade resembling a mock Gothic church. Inside, the Hellfire Caves unfold into a series of chambers, each holding its own story. The journey begins at the Steward's Chamber and leads through Whitehead's Cave, Lord Sandwich's Circle, and the Franklin Cave, named in honor of Benjamin Franklin himself. Beyond lies the Banqueting Hall, the largest man-made chalk cave in the world, where grand feasts and unholy revelries took place. The path narrows into the triangle, passing the Miner's Cave, before finally arriving at the Inner Temple. This chamber lies across the subterranean river Styx, named after the mythological river that separates the world of the living from Hades. Sir Francis loved Greek mythology, and he designed this section of the caves to symbolize the boundary between heaven and hell. Directly above the inner temple stands the St. Lawrence's Church, a stark contrast to the unholy gatherings that took place below. Rumors of the club's activities have long circulated, with tales of black masses and satanic rituals, yet no evidence of such ceremonies have ever been found. What is more likely are the tales of excessive drinking, wild sex parties, and mock rituals where members donned elaborate costumes, and the women, some of them ladies of the night, invited to the gatherings were dressed as nuns. The caves themselves seem to have been designed with a dark purpose in mind. The passages twist and turn like a labyrinth, guiding initiates through chambers that mirrored the journey through the underworld. It's whispered that the design was inspired by ancient temples, a place where dark energies could be channeled and rituals could be performed away from prying eyes. On March 22, 1766, Sir Francis Dashwood ordered the removal of all incriminating evidence. Portraits of kings and nuns, pegs for the brothers' clothes, all were taken away, as if to erase the past. Right above these caverns stands the Dashwood Mausoleum, next to St. Lawrence's Church on top of West Wycombe Hill. This large enclosed burial ground was meant for the Dashwood family and select brothers of the Hellfire Club. Among them was Paul Whitehead, the club steward, who requested that his heart be placed in an urn here after his death. He paid Sir Francis £50 for the honor, but in 1829 an Australian soldier stole the urn, and now Paul Whitehead's restless spirit haunts the caves, endlessly searching for his missing heart. Paul Whitehead is not the only ghostly figure that wanders these tunnels. Visitors have reported seeing a man in 18th century clothing, disappearing when eyes meet his. Is this Whitehead or another spirit trapped in these cursed halls? The temperature often drops without warning, and strange lights and orbs have been seen, flickering in the dark. Disembodied voices echo through the chambers, and some have even felt the touch of unseen hands. Gregorian chanting has been heard emanating from the inner temple, as if the Hellfire Club still meets in the afterlife. But perhaps the most tragic tale is that of Suki, a 16 or 17-year-old barmaid who worked at the local George and Dragon Inn. Beautiful and ambitious, Suki dreamt of marrying into high society. One night, she received a note from an aristocrat asking her to meet him in the caves. He instructed her to wear her finest white dress, like a wedding gown. Heart-pounding with excitement, Suki descended into the caves, only to discover that it was all a cruel joke orchestrated by 3 local boys. Angry and humiliated, she threw rocks at the boys. One of them, in a thoughtless jest, threw a rock back. It struck her head, knocking her unconscious. Suki died that night, her dreams shattered in a cruel twist of fate. Since then, her spirit has been seen wandering the caves, dressed in her white gown, forever searching for the life she was denied. Today, the Hellfire Caves are open to the public, where brave souls can wander through the narrow corridors and dark chambers. There's even a paranormal tour for those daring enough to face the spirits that linger. And who knows, perhaps you'll encounter Paul Whitehead, still searching for his lost heart, or the ghostly figure of Suki, wandering in her bridal gown, lost in a place where the echoes of the damned never fade. Remember, my ghoulish fiends, some places are meant to be left undisturbed, their secrets buried deep within the earth.